Plus, dealing with tweens can really test your parenting skills. A child psychiatrist is here with how you can break past that communication barrier and stay connected with your growing kid.
Puberty is a pivotal time in the relationship between a parent and a child. Your kid seems to withdraw from communicating with you, and it seems that everything that parents do is wrong, silly, or embarrassing.
Now, this can be a very natural phase or an indication of something more serious. And Dr. Gayani DeSilva is a child and adolescent psychiatrist, the author of a book, A Psychiatrist's Guide, helping parents reach your depressed tween. I'm so glad you're here, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Much.
Good morning.
I have a 12-year-old. I have a tween daughter.
Great.
So when you talk about all the drama that can happen in the communication, that is the key, because sometimes they don't want to talk.
Yeah, you know, I also have an 11-year-old son. I'm a mom and a physician. And, you know, our tweens, this age between 8 and 13, is such a pivotal time, as you have said. And this generation is going through such a complexity of life that no other generation has gone through before. They're bombarded by all this media and different ways of connecting that isn't personal. Their faces are stuck on their cell phones. You know, they're Snapchatting and making faces and communicating that way. So how are parents supposed to get through to their teen? Or their tween, their child. And then when you add depression or anxiety on top of that, it makes it even harder, because depression and anxiety is very different. Connecting to a tween who doesn't have depression and anxiety is much easier. It kind of flows. But when you're trying to connect to your tween who has depression or anxiety, it's almost impossible. And every day in my practice in Laguna Beach, parents come to me and say, I can't get through to my child.
Right.
My child is stuck in their room. They won't come out of their room. For instance, I have this child who, Mariah, she's 11 years old, and she, a very bright, vibrant girl, communicates a lot, has lots of friends, goes on play dates, does well in school, gradually started to avoid going to school, to the point where she couldn't even get out of the car to go to school, to the point where she was stuck in her room. And mom was calling me in the morning saying she's crawled up in her bed and she won't go, and it's been like this for 7 days.
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong. That's called anxiety, school-based anxiety, and it's an anxiety disorder. It's not just the blues, it's not just a situational nervousness. She actually physically can't get out of bed. Tim, a 13-year-old child who loves to play soccer and is gregarious and can go to school and do really well and get straight A's, all of a sudden can't move, can't sleep, can't eat, can't concentrate, because these depression and anxiety are brain disorders. They're not just feelings. Feelings come and they go. They're like clouds. They pass.
Yeah.
But depression and anxiety are actual illnesses.
And you have some steps, so let's try to get to as many as we can. First, you say the rocking chair. What is that?
Yes, I love the rocking chair. You know, this is something that my son and I have used since he was an infant. So the rocking chair doesn't have to be a rocking chair necessarily, but a place where you go to with your child that becomes a sacred place where you can connect. You sit side by side, you make a physical connection, and you learn to just know that that is a safe place, and it conditions the brain actually for the child to anticipate that this rocking chair or this porch chair this time is a place for them to calm down and connect with the parent. There are other steps too.
Being very clear about expectations.
Yes, exactly. So being clear about expectations means that you say what you do what you say and you say what you do. So, and you do it in mundane times. When you're driving your child to school for school drop-off, you can say, hey, we're going to be a little bit early. I hope you have a good time communicating with your friends. Start school, have a great day at school. You know what, your grandmother is going to pick you up from school and then take you home, and you'll be there for a couple of hours, and then I'll come after work. I finish work around 5:30. I'll be there as soon as I can, and then we're going to have dinner together and finish up whatever homework that you have to do. I'd really like you to do your homework, most of it before I get home, so we can spend that time together.
The next one may be really tough for parents, and that is give them space.
Giving them space is so hard, because in my book I talk about a fix-it parent versus a healer parent. And a fix-it parent is what we want to do. We don't want our children to be suffering, but they do suffer, and especially if they have depression or anxiety, they're having a hard time suffering. So give them the space to feel their feelings. At this age, between 8 and 13, as tweens, their cognitive functionings haven't fully developed, even though this is a critical time and their brains are rapidly growing and they're developing those systems that have the higher level cognitive functioning, have the ability to handle stress and feelings and memory, and their reward systems are building. So this is a time for you really to give them that space to kind of sort it out. If you ask them, how are you feeling? Well, guess what? They're feeling every feeling under the sun. And so how do you pull one out?
And speaking of those feelings, trying to validate their feelings and know that sometimes it's easy to say, oh, come on, it's just drama. It's just girl drama.
Right, and because you know what that feeling is and you know it's going to pass, but they don't know that.
Right.
So I'll give you an example. I saw a child who was about 14 years old, and she was so very, very depressed and anxious, and she described herself as being in a tunnel, and she couldn't see the light. So the way that I validated that feeling was to say, yes, I understand. I understand that you are in this tunnel and you can't see your way around. You can't even see the walls. It just feels like everything's closing in on you. So you reflect back to them what you know that feeling feels like. And then you tell them, I can see that light. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I want you, I'm going to be right there with you. I'm going to be next to you. And we are going to walk this tunnel because I can see the light, so we can walk towards it until you see it. And then you and I will go together towards that light. And she said, I can't see it, but that's exactly how I feel. And I trust you. So, okay, I just took a deep breath. Trust is everything. You're building that trust when you validate, when you set clear expectations, when you have that rocking chair time. And the other thing is, take time for yourself, because when we're parents and we're in that situation where your child is suffering, oh my gosh, that anxiety just wells up, right? And we just want to jump in, we want to fix it, we want to take it away. But don't do that. Take a step back, breathe, because our anxiety is not going to help our child's anxiety, right?
I'm going to do all these things today.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. I love that.
I feel so much better.
I'm so glad.
I had counseling just now. Thank you.
Dr. Gayani DeSilva is a child and adolescent psychiatrist and author of a Psychiatrist Guide, helping parents reach your depressed tweens. You can learn more at the website lagunafamily.com. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.